Hello, my name is Gamer Guide and welcome to this in-depth tutorial and playthrough for Melvor Idol. Please like our videos and follow our channel. Okay guys, let's get started. Okay, so right at the beginning, you get this screen here, and this is where you'll be able to select what character you'd like to play. From these things here, you can see I've got quite a bit just to show you. I've got quite a high character here running in a current game, but we're not going to be looking at that today. Okay, so that's what we've got here. This is where we'll be able to select our character here. You need to make sure you can got the expansion pack, which came out last year with the game, so you'll be able to follow along. Okay, so this is what you should all have, and make sure that you're all logged in properly and everything else. Okay, so I'll take it you've done all that. So the first thing to do is create a character. So we're going to select on this character down here. I've already done this a couple of times, so I'm just going to create a new character. Next thing we need to do is decide what mode you want to play. For the purposes of this playthrough, this in-depth tutorial, and play what we're doing, save ourselves a lot of time, and to make things easier, I suggest that you use standard mode. Okay, can have quite a bit of fun with this, and you can read for yourself what standard mode is about. But later on, we may move on to adventure mode in another video, but for now we're going to use standard mode. And in here, you will be able to type in the name of your character. You can call the character whatever you like. I'm just going to call ourselves Standard Playthrough. And we're just going to put in something like that. That'll do Standard Playthrough do, and just begin our journey. Okay, when we first start off, you'll be greeted with a screen, so we need to go through one or two things. First thing we need to do is this. First thing that come up is this tutorial island that you can see here. Okay, so we don't actually have to do anything here, and just that you just right at the top here. Before we go into too much detail, it says skip tutorial island. Just for the purposes of this video, just press that, click that, and then press skip, and then press OK, and that will get rid of the tutorial island, and it will be no longer applying to your game. Now, don't worry, we're going to go through everything you will do on the tutorial and a bit more. So we're just going to have a look at the different things that we've got on this side of the screen. We have all our menus over here. You can see them moving up and down. As I move my mouse up and down, you can see them moving. Over here, we've got all our other information. And down the bottom, over here, we have some more information. So the area is broken down into 3 areas. All your stuff that you can do, all your menus are over here. You can see me now moving them up and down. You've got your main screen over here with a tree that you can see that we can cut down here. And all the information. We'll talk all about this in a little while. And over here is another set of menus. So let's go through these menus. Let's go through these. So basically, on these menus that you can see over here, these 3 are broken down into 3 things, or 3 different areas, if you like. The first thing you got right at the very top is a shop. Okay, which you can click on, and you can go into the shop. And you can see, without going into too much detail at this stage, just basic talking about what this is. We'll go through this top bit a little bit later on, so don't worry about this at the moment. You have a shop, and you can do or go and buy different things, different amount of money in here. We've currently got no money. It tells me here, up the top here, next to shop, how much gold pieces I've got, and we've got absolutely none. So there's nothing we can do in the shop at the moment. Okay, the cheapest thing in the shop is this bank set here, but don't worry about that too much. We're not going to be buying that anything just yet. So that's really basically where you can get. You can see some of the things here, like these gloves, for argument's sake, are really expensive. at 100,000 each, and trust me, they get more and more expensive. This is 23 million gold coins, or gold pieces, I should say, and so on and so forth. So you've got different things in this for different prices. Next is your bank. This is at what's known as a bank. Now think of this as like your warehouse. Okay, this is where everything goes that you find when you do things in Melvor Idle. And whatever you do in Melvor Idle, you will find things, whether it be a fighting monsters or it be cutting down trees like you saw at the beginning. They will be stored here. And at the moment, we have nothing in it, so it's empty. But we only have enough of 12 items. So once we get to 12 items, we collect, that's 12 different items. Okay? So you can collect up to 12 different items, and you can collect an infinite amount of these items. So like say those trees that we saw earlier, if we were collecting them, we could collect thousands of them and it would only take up one space. Okay? But if we were to collect 13 different items, we would not be able to do that, and we would lose them because our bank would be full with 12 items and we would not be allowed to get the 13th one. So then we would have to go to the bank and we would have to buy more space for our warehouse. And we'll show you how to do that later on. But for now, 12 is going to be enough. So we don't need to do any more than that. Okay. So moving on down to the next area. So that's a bank. We have this thing called combat. This is a combat screen. And I'm not, like I said, we're going to go through it all a little bit more later on, so don't worry about it. I just want to show it to you. Just basically all these things here, you can see here, combat, attack, strength, defense, hit points, range, magic, prayer, and slayer. These are all combat skills and all apply to this screen that you can see on your TV or on your computer now. So all apply to that one thing. So all these are your combat skills. Okay. Next to that, if we go down here, you've got this non-combat skills. Just click on the first one, and now you can see there's a whole host. I'm not going to go through every one of these, such as wood cutting, fishing, fire making, cooking, mining, smithing, and so on, all the way down to alt magic. Okay. So these are all your non-combat skills. And what is a non-combat skill? Basically, it's a skill that you can improve that doesn't involve combat. Okay, and we'll show you how to do these a little bit later on. Just for now, it's just a basic breakdown of what we're going to be talking about. Okay, so moving down, we're not going to be, in this video, we're not going to be talking or doing this mini game at all. We're not going to be talking about that. If you want to do that, there are plenty of good videos online. You know, if you just type in Goblin Raid on your computer, it'll come up with some people who have streamed that and give you some idea what it's all about. But we're not going to be covering that, nor are we going to be covering the mod manager, because we're not going to be messing around with mods at all. So these two here, we are not going to be looking at all during this series. I might cover them later, but for now, we're not going to be looking at them. Okay. Then you got others just underneath this. This is other things. You got your completion log, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. The lore of the game, which is basically the history of certain parts of the game. Your statistics, your settings, and of course, you have news and change log, which is to do with the game, what's happened with the game since it being launched. And oops, sorry about that, went the wrong way. Underneath that, it's a bit fiddly. Don't mean to hold on to it. Sometimes it just does that. You have social, which is going to cover the wiki, which game none of this we're going to be covering. Wiki, Discord, Reddit, and Twitter is social for the game. So we're not going to cover any of that, or the news or changes logs. We're not going to show any of that. We may look at the settings, but I doubt it very much. And you can also report a bug and the privacy policy. So all these things you can read for yourself, but we're really not going to touch many of these things from here on down, to be honest with you. Okay, so that's that done. Okay, so while we're in while we're still in this menu, you can see up here, you'll see right up, go right back to the top, just under bank here, you see this little eye here? Okay, this means that you can close that menu down so you can't see it anymore by just clicking on it, and you get this little eye with a cross through it. If you click it again, it'll come back. So that's left click to close it, left click to open it. But for now, we're going to leave it closed so we can see that it's closed, because we're not going to be doing combat for a while. So we don't need to worry about combat. So we're not going to be touching these combat skills for a little while. So just click that, shut that down. That way you make less chance of you making a mistake. You can do the same on non-combat skills as well. Okay, by closing it down, and you can make the menu quite small. Okay, but for now, we're going to leave non-combat skills open because we are going to be looking at these non-combat skills. And that's where we're going to start our video. We are going to start our tutorial in non-combat, okay, which is what we're going to be doing. Now, these all skills work in the same way, but they're just called different things, okay? So the first thing we need to do is we need to understand this screen over here and this bit over here. So at the top here, you've got something that says, we're just going to stay on wood cutting. So at the top here, it say wood cutting and have this little symbol. And if you click on the little symbol, it'll give you a guide to what wood cutting is. I ain't going to read it. You can get it again for yourself and you can read it for yourself. Okay. Then you have something called full save, which is here, which we can click on here, and this will save our game. And there you go, you can see it says you have successfully saved the game. So that's that. Okay, so that's how you save your game, by using that false save menu thing over here. Next to that, we have this little jar, which shows us what potions we are currently carrying, but because we've only just started, obviously we've got nothing there. This next thing is your equipment stats, or a quick guide to all your equipment. It shows all the equipment you're currently got equipped, what you're using, what you have, so on and so forth. And again, we're going to go through this a little bit later on, but for now you don't need to worry about it, just know that it's there. Okay, and then over here you've got the name of your character, which you can see over here. You can do a full save from here, which you've already seen. You can do that. You can change your account. You can select a different character by quitting the game and going back to a different character, and so on and so forth. But we won't be going to do too much with this, but this is just another way of doing things, and we'll show you how to use that a little bit later on. So that's that top bar. Underneath here, the second bit, this big black long bar, you can see on here, you can see that you've got your skill level, which I'm currently level 1 out of 120, just over here. Our skill XP, which is 0 out of 83, so we need 83 points, okay, to go up a level. Yes, this is levels, so there's skill levels, and the maximum level you can get to is 120. So once we hit 83 skill points, this will go from 1 to 2, and we'll be 2 level skills, right, out of 120, and so on until we get up there further. It shows you currently what equipment that you're using for that particular skill. So in here, we're using a bronze axe over here. You can get other items, and just show you where you get them from. So we go over here, back to the shop. Go over here. Oh, sorry, wrong one. Beg your pardon. Go, where are they? Can't remember where they are now. It's been a while. Okay. Here we are. No, it's not. Oh, here we are. So here they are. I found them eventually. Sorry about that. And here's your axes. You can see once we get some money, 50 gold coins, we'll be able to buy a better axe, which gives us a much better percentage chance to be able to hit trees and get items, and these get more and more expensive. You can get better and better upgrades for particular skills as you do it. So that's how you do that. So you come back to here. So we've currently got this bronze axe. For now, that's going to do us. We don't need to upgrade our item that we need for this non-combat skill, but you can buy upgrades from the bank. Okay, next one underneath that is view checkpoints. if you click this, you'll see that this is called something called the mastery pool. We'll go through that a little bit later on, but I just want you to see it for now. It's all in red, which means we have no mastery whatsoever in this skill. Okay, we're a rank amateur. Okay, as you get more and more experience and we get better and better, eventually these will turn green. Okay, which means you have that milestone or checkpoint. And you've got something called Spend Mystery Pool XP, which is just here, which allows you to be able to physically adjust, okay, the skill that you're working on. Okay, but for now you don't need to worry about that. We're unlikely to be touching that at all at the beginning. Then you've got this little button here, which looks like a little gold cup in a circle, and this shows you your mystery pool. And as you chop down each tree, this will get more and more points, okay, and it will build up, and you'll begin to see this line fill up. So that basically helps you with your mystery pool. That what is a mystery pool? Basically helps you to become better at the skill that you're currently using. In this case, woodcutting. Then we have an information bar. This will show you more information later on. Can't show you anything in there at the moment because we're not doing anything, so we'll come back to that one. Then we got this one here, which we can click on, and we can just simply click on this to start the skill, okay, and it will start chopping down these normal trees, but we're just going to do that in a minute. And you see, to get to the next level, or to get to the next kind of tree, we need to be level 10. So this skill level here, which is currently at 1, will need to be level 10 before we can unlock this. Now remember, they all work basically the same, okay, so but they're all going to have different requirements. Over here you've got a quick menu, I call it. Over here you can do a quick equip, so you can equip equipment by clicking on this cog, and any equipment you've got is relevant to wood cutting, then you'll be able to equip it here by just clicking on here and equipping it, rather than going to your warehouse and doing that manually, and we'll show you how to do that. Yeah, also underneath it you can see any summoning synergies you have, and these are these things here, sorry, these things, and we can currently see we haven't got any at all. Well, not going to worry about them. You won't be getting these for a while, so I won't worry about any of these just yet. Okay, we'll talk about them when we do them. Okay, and over here you can look at your milestones for the skill. And over here, it give you all the trees that we can cut down, right down to 120. You can currently see we've only got level 1, and it jumps up from 1. Next level, it shows 10, 25, 35, and so on. Yeah. At the moment, we've only got 1, so it's green. Okay. We've only got 10, so that's not highlighted like the first one. And lastly, this is a mystery pool, which shows you basically, it says for every 10 levels, you get a 5% chance to receive 2 times the amount of things that you're trying to get. So level 10, you get a 5% chance to get 2 trees, right, instead of 1. Okay, and level 99, which is going to take you a very, very long time, trust me. Okay, you get a decrease in the amount of time it takes you to cut down a single tree by 2 seconds. Okay, so it's quite good. Okay, so that's basically all the skills. They all work basically the same, no matter what they are, whether it's fishing, as you can see, I've come on to fishing here. They're all exactly the same. Okay, these are slightly different. Fishing works are slightly different, but it's basically the same, exactly the same layout, just a different front screen. Fire making, we're going to talk about that a little bit later on. This fire making, again, exactly same screens. And no matter where you go, even if I was to go all the way down to Alt Magic, which is here, you can see it's just exactly the same. It tells you basically underneath here what you need to. She says just learning here. It tells you that you need one of the green circle things in a circle and a normal one. And we're going to show you how to get all this, how to get the items required for the particular schools when we start that. Okay. Right, so that's basically a brief introduction, right, to how this game works and what we're going to be focusing on. Like I said, non-combat skills. We're only going to have 12 slots in our bank, okay? Okay, and that's all you need. You don't need to spend any money to increase this because we're not going to be doing any combat for quite a while. Okay, so we want to get started on what we need to do. So you might ask yourself, right, now every game that you play in Melvor Idle starts slightly differently. Okay, because we're playing standard playthrough, it's probably the easiest one to get started with. It doesn't really matter too much where you start, but you still need a plan. Okay, some games, right, like hardcore, right, which again starts with most of the skills already open. You would start slightly differently to you would do in standard mode. But in my view, adventure mode, which is probably, I believe, the hardest version of the game that currently is available at the moment. You start with absolutely nothing. Okay, just combat. You start off with a few shrimps, I think, if memory serves me right, and a dagger. And you have to get 10,000 coins to get your first skill open. So you have to buy to get your skills to get skills open. So it is very difficult. And if you choose the wrong skill, trust me, it could cost you a lot more money then. Probably, and then the next amount I think is 25,000 for the second skill. So you've got to be so careful with adventure mode, which is why I've decided not to use that for now. Just so you get used to this, get used to how we're playing it, and get good doing it. Now, one skill is slightly different on this whole list to the ones that I just talked to you about, and it's this one called Township. Okay, now this does work slightly differently, right, than what you've already talked about. Again, it's got all the same things at the top that we talked about, but these bars here are different. Okay, and maps and what have you are all different. But for now, we don't need to worry about Township. We are not going to be starting with Township probably for a couple of videos, but we'll start it in a little while. We'll be going through what we need to do. It's quite simple. I found it quite easy once you understand how it works, right? To use this and to be able to build up your town and to get it managed very quite easy. It's not difficult at all. I think currently about level 45 in my other game because I don't spend a lot of time on it. But it's a brand new thing. Came out with a DLC, part of the DLC. It's brand new. It's very good. Okay, so let's go back to woodcutting. So I just wanted to point that back out. That's slightly different. We'll come back to that later. Okay, so how do you get started in standard playthrough on Mobile Idle? So the first thing we need to do is we need to realise at some point we will need to go into our combat, which is over here, which we got shrunk down at the moment. And we're currently level 3 in that. Okay, and we'd like to be, we want to get that up a little bit higher. So we need to be prepared for that. Think of it like, you're going on a journey, out for the day. You don't just walk out the door with no coat on and no money in your pocket. And so you need to get ready to do that. So we need to do the same here. Okay, there are different types of combat. So to do this, I'm just going to open this up for a minute so you can see it. There are different types of combat in this game. There's melee, which is these three here, which is attack, strength, and defense. Okay, so that's melee there. You have range, which is with bows and arrows. Okay, and crossbows and bolts and things like that. So there's two types. We've got melee and we got ranged, and we got magic. Okay, which means that we can be able to cast spells and do things and so on and so forth. So we have three types of combat. So you have your melee combat, which is these three: attack, strength, and defense. Okay, then you have range, which is bows and crossbows and bolts and arrows and things. And you have magic, which means you go cast fireballs, lightning, water, whatever it might be for magic. Don't worry about prayer and slayer just yet. We'll go through them a little bit later on. So where we are concentrating mostly on these three areas, i.e. melee, right, ranged, and magic. Okay? That's what we're going to be doing in non-combat. We're going to be building up a little bit of experience, getting ourselves a bit of money and getting our character established before we even go into combat. Okay, so what we have to do, I'm going to leave this open now for a little bit. We're going to say, right, okay, which one do we want to start with? So I would suggest, right, the best one to start with would be melee. Melee is the only one here, right, melee combat, that actually gives you the most experience points and the easiest way to level up your character at the beginning rather than ranged or magic. So we're going to be focusing on melee attacks. Okay, so we have to get ready for taking on monsters that we can fight once we go into combat, and we'll go through combat, don't worry. I'll go a bit more into depth with combat when we're ready, but we're not going to do that just yet once we're ready. So we're going to be doing melee. Okay, that's what we're going to focus on. Okay, so I'm just going to close that down so I don't have to keep looking at it. So we don't really need trees. I mean, you can use trees, okay, if you wish to do so, but really I'm not going to be using trees at the moment. So I'm going to leave trees alone. I'm not going to touch trees. I'm going to go to fishing. This is the first thing that I want to do, okay? So why do I want to start with fishing? Well, there's a very good reason for wanting to start fishing. If we're going to go off and do combat, we're going to have to fight monsters. And if you're fighting monsters, there's a chance that the monster's going to hit you and you're going to take some damage. And if you're not able to heal yourself, eventually you're going to die. So basically, food is one of the most important things in Melvor Idle, like it is in most other games. Can't eat logs from a tree, okay, but you can eat the fish from fishing. You can also get stuff from farming, which is here, okay, and from thieving, which is here, okay, but for now, because thieving is really difficult and farming takes a long time, the quickest way for us to get food at the beginning of the game so we can then use that food to eat whilst we're fighting to heal ourselves is to fish. So that's what we're going to do. So just click on. Again, you can read all about fishing by clicking on these various things that we went through earlier on. And we've got a bronze fishing rod. You can see it over here. This is all exactly the same as what we spoke to earlier. So just go click on this raw shrimp and it will come up here, start fishing. Can you see this here? Start fishing. Okay, so to do that one more time, just left click on raw fishing and brings up the start fishing, and then left click on this to start fishing. Now we're going to collect about, I don't know, 20. We're going to collect a few of these, so we're just going to start fishing while I chat. And now we're starting fishing. You'll see a little blue circle go around. It says you're fishing. And down the bottom here, you see it says we've got one fish, and already you can see that our mastery is going up as we catch fish. This little bar, even though you can't see it, you can see that we're getting mastery for that every time we get that. And also you'll see a blue line across the top is going across the bar, which is our experience points, which is building up our level. And over here you can see that our now I've got 25 out of 83, and every time we catch a fish that will get more and more and more. Okay, you will collect something called junk, right? This is the amount of fish that, chance that you've got of catching a shrimp, so it's 75%, which is what we're currently doing. You've also got something called junk, and you've got a 25% chance of picking up some junk, and we just picked up some junk, and 0% chance of catching anything special. We'll talk about them later, but you can see down the bottom here, We are picking up a little bit. Just keep an eye on your bank, and you can see we've now taken up 3 of our slots because all the things that we're fishing coming out of here and going into our bank. Okay, so like I said, we don't need lots of these. About 25 will do us, and we're going to be level 2 in a minute. So that's really going to help us. We can unlock the next fishing level, which is over at level 5. So we're not going to get there because we're not going to be fishing that long. So we just wanted to we'll probably get a level. We've got another 10 to go. Around 25 is about right for this stage. Just keep an eye on the number of slots. And if you feel it's getting close, I normally wait. If I get to around about 10, should be okay. You can just stop the fishing whenever you want. There we are. We're now level 2. And it come up there. Congratulations, you're now level 2. So we're now level 2 in fishing, which means we get increased experience. We're slightly better at it than what we was a minute ago. Okay, so we're now got some experience. And over here you can see that fishing's gone up from 1 to 2 over here. Okay, and this is the mastery over here, and it's going up all the time. So we've now got 19 fish. I don't think we're going to pick up any more items at the moment. Oh, we just picked up an old boot. You can see what's going on, but you'll see it coming down the bottom here. Shows you your mastery and what have you, what you're doing. Okay, so we're just going to collect a couple more. So we've now got 22. We've now got 8 items out of 12. You can see we're actually doing really well here. I've got one more to go, and then we're going to stop this. And to stop fishing, just click on the stop button with the mouse button. Okay, so we'll stop there. That'll do us. Okay, I think I've got 24, so it doesn't matter. I think I clicked on a boot rather than that, so just start again. Just make sure you get 25. That's a bottle. Just want one more, make sure it doesn't matter. Yeah, there you go. So I'm going to stop that. Okay. Okay, so, you should have roughly what I've got here, as you can see. And just to show you what's going on here, we're now level 2. Okay, we now see our experience points gone up. We need 174. We've still got the same rod. Don't worry about checkpoints. We've got 457 mastery out of that amount, and it's a lot. Okay. We're currently working with shrimps, so that's what we want. It gives you 5 experience points, 5 skill points for every shrimp you catch. Gives you 133 mastery XP, which includes any bonuses you might have, and you get an additional bonus of 33 for this thing over here. Currently takes 4 to 8 seconds to do one of these. So that will get better, and we've currently got 12. Level 12 mastery in that. Okay, so that's what all that means. Okay, so let's go to the bank, and here's all the items that we got. Okay, so this is what we picked up from that little bit of fishing. Okay, and you can see we got 8 items out of 12. Now, we don't want to sell the shrimps because we're going to use that for food. But all this stuff here, all these other bits, all this junk that we picked up, we don't want that. We're going to sell that. So sell something is very easy. So just click on it, okay, and it'll come up over here. So in this case, we clicked on the boot, and you can just click on the boot, and you can just say, okay, I can sell all but one. I can click that, and I can sell just one of them. Why you want to keep an old boot, I have no idea. Now, you're not used for anything in this game, but you could do that, right, and keep one of them and sell. So if I was to sell that, right, you would sell the one old boot, and you would have one left. So I'll just show you that. And there you go. You can sell one old boot for 8 pieces. And just click sell item. And we've now got 8 gold pieces. Can you see that over there? But we don't really want to keep this old boot. Right, so all you've got to do to get rid of it is, instead of just clicking all but one, just click all, comes up, and we sell that. And you sell that, and now our 8 has gone up from 8 to 16. Now, I said to you I didn't really want to sell that, so if we wanted to make sure that we didn't sell these shrimps, I could lock them by clicking this little padlock over here, poof, and you know it's locked because it will go inside, the icon will turn red. So we can't sell these because it's all greyed out, and no matter what you press, you can't sell it. So we're just going to leave that locked for now. So we want to sell everything else in this list. So we just want to make sure, select all, sell item, sell that item, and then you can sell anything but the shrimps. Anything you may have collected, sell it all. Don't worry too much. Okay, if you've been lucky enough to pick up a gem, sell that as well, but I doubt it very much. But you may have done. Just sell everything. And don't worry about upgrading any items just yet. Just sell everything just to get us a bit of money. So now we have sold everything, we've now got 141 gold, which here, okay, which I brought us into the shop accidentally, mean to do that, sorry. So we now got 141 gold, which means we've now got a bit of money. So we now got these raw shrimps, okay. Now, if you know anything about cooking, you can't really eat many things raw, okay. Give you food poison, all sorts of things, especially shrimps. I mean, I could eat raw shrimps, but they always taste nicer cooked. So we have to cook these shrimps. So to do that, click on the cooking skill, which is here, and you'll come to the cooking skill. Okay. Now we have to select the recipe we want. We have to tell Melvor Idol what we want to cook. Again, we'll only be talking about, we've only got a basic cooking facility. Okay, that's all you need. Okay, so you just click on select recipe and it brings up all the recipes that we can cook, quite a lot of them. Okay, and if you look over here, there's some other things that you'll be able to do later on as well, but we'll talk about them later. So just select over here, you've got shrimps. It tells you, right, it takes 2 seconds to cook one of them, and it takes one shrimp, and every time you get that, you're going to get 5 cooking XP, and each one of these that we cook is worth 38 points. So select this, and it will bring her into this screen here. Okay. So again, just check. Yeah, I'm just going to go on beef for a minute so you can see it change. So go and select recipe, go on to select shrimps, and you're now on shrimps, and you can see here what it does. One shrimp, 38 points, requires one of these, which you have to fish for. Okay, so you have to go fishing to get these first before we can do this. Don't just come out of thin air. Can't buy them from the shop, so you have to go fishing for them. Right, each one you cook gives you 5 XP, get 4 mastery, and you got a basic bonus of 1. Down here, it tells you the number that we have in stock, 25. Can you see that here? Number of shrimps that I've currently got in stock is 25. Just move down a little bit. This is your chance to preserve the item in the recipe. That means when you get a higher percentage, you have a chance to actually cooking a shrimp and being able to save that shrimp without actually cooking it. So it's a way of getting extra food, if you like. This is a chance to get a double item. So, you know, you can cook a shrimp and sometimes it will get a double item, and that's what it means, getting double item. This is something called Perfect Cooks, okay, which you should have enabled up here. Perfect Cook, see that there? Okay, and that means that you've cooked it so well, it's going to do extra healing points to you. We'll look at that should we get them. This is your chance of successfully cooking this particular product. So this particular shrimp, at the moment we have 71% chance. Okay, all these change, especially this last one. The more you cook, the better chance you get. Once you get to 100% on this, you're going to be able to cook everything without the chance of it not cooking, because we have a 71% chance of cooking a shrimp successfully. If we hit, say, 72% while we're at level 1, then we won't be able to cook it and it will go to waste because it becomes burnt and spoiled. We got active cook, which means we're going to start skill and passive cook. Now, passive cook is something I've never used. Okay, so I'm not going to be talking about that too much, but I do use active cook. And you can cook from the stockpile here, but again, we're not going to be doing that. Okay, so we want to cook these 25 shrimps. Okay, and like I said to you before, we have only got a 71% chance, which is quite high. So hopefully, 71% of what we've caught, we should be able to get as food. It's roughly going to be about, 15 or so. Hopefully that's what we'll get. So we'll see. So just when you're ready, go on to this active cook. Make sure you've got the shrimp selected and press cook. And it'll start cooking the shrimp. And it's already done one. And you can see over here, the number of cooked shrimps appears over here. We've got number of 3, we've got number perfects, and this goes up. Sometimes it'll tell you down here that you failed. You can see it says here we failed the last couple of times, and this tells you how many you've actually cooked, and it's also over here. And you can see our experience is building up as we cook each fish. We are getting our 5 XP, which is building up this bar, which is giving us experience in cooking. And we're going to leave perfect. I doubt if we get perfect at this level. You may, so don't be surprised if you do. Okay, so we've got 4 left. You can see this is also going down. We're now level 2 in fishing. Cooking, I beg your pardon. Okay, so that's it done. So we've got 19 fish, okay, out of the whole lot, and we nearly made it to level 2, not quite. We're 1 short, so it don't matter. Okay, so to go now back to the bank, so to get from here to go back to the bank, you can see nothing really changed down here. We go back to the bank, and here you can see we got our 19 fish. But have you noticed they're not locked? When I started cooking them, I locked them, so you could lock these if you wanted to, but I'm not going to bother. You could if you want. So this is going to be our main food supply for when we go into combat. So that if we do take some hit points, we can eat one of these shrimps and we will get 30 hit points back. Okay, so to do that, to put that into combat, right, which is over here, I'll show you. You've got your food. Very top one says food. Can you see that there? Okay, and if you look at it, you've only got 3 slots. Now, I'm level 121 in my other character, and I've never seen yet a way of getting more slots for food. 3 is all you're going to have, okay, for an entire game, as far as I'm aware, okay? Okay, and you will change the type of food you put in there, alright? So we'll, basically start off with shrimps and potatoes. We'll show you how to get potatoes later on. But basically, they're the first 2 primary sources of food that you start with in this game, and they will go in here, so that when you're in combat and you're fighting, right, your hit points, you can see them here. When they decrease, you'll be able to click on one of these. We'll show you how to do all this, and you'll be able to get your 30 hit points back. So to do that, all you've got to do is equip food over here. See it over here? Just over here. So just going to equip food, and they've disappeared out of our bank. Alright, and you're thinking, where they gone? Well, they've gone over here. They're now in our food. If you click on here now, you can see we have 19 shrimps that give us 30 hit points every time we want to eat one, which is really, really good. Okay, so that's the first thing we need to do. So that's what's happened. We went out, we caught 25 shrimps. Okay, increased our skill with them, with using fishing. We then went to cooking, and then we cooked 25 shrimps, out of which we got 19. Okay, which increased our skill in cooking. We then took those 25 shrimps, which appeared in our warehouse over here, and we equipped them to our food supply, which allows us to be able to eat them during combat. And that's how that works. Okay? Okay, so that's really, really basic, simple stuff. Okay? That's how you can get food, alright, at the beginning of Melvor Idle. Okay? And we can now go into mining. Now we've got a bit of food, we're going to need a weapon. Okay, we're really going to need a weapon. We need something to fight with. Okay, because you can fight with your fists. Okay, but it's obviously not going to do us a lot of favours. Not a very good idea to fight with fists. You need a weapon. Now this is magic. Okay, the same screen as we saw before. Basically, exactly the same. Okay, we've got a bronze pickaxe. Got all exactly the same things over here and over there. Okay, but this ruins that you can see here, this is the magic. Now, we're not going to be focusing on magic for a while, so just leave it alone. You don't need to touch it. But we do need to get this copper and this tin. Okay, so we want to get a couple of these and a couple of these. Now, each time you click on this, every time this completes the cycle, we get 6 copper. Every time we complete a cycle on tin, we get 6 tin. How this works is basically we're going to collect 6 of these, and when this runs out, the vein runs out, we're going to click over here and collect 6 of these, and by the time we get that, this vein will be back. We're going to get a couple of these. So I'm going to do this a couple of times. So just follow me, you'll be fine. So to get this started, just click on it like we did before to get it started. Okay? So we can click on this and you can see this bar fills up, and we're now getting copper ore, which is going straight into our bank. Okay? Everything automatically goes into our bank, and we're building up here. Just going to get a couple of these. So just waiting for it to run out. So you can see once it disappears, once you get that, just click on this one over here. That one will stop, and this one will start. You can see this is finished. This vein's finished. It'll refill and come back. So just once this one does that, we can go back over here and collect this one. And we now got level 2 in mining. It's really nice. So click on this one again. And this one is building up, and this one we're mining. So we're going to do it one more time. Let's do it so we collect a few. It don't take long because they're very small. We're not going to get any current more levels, but we do have, the individual levels. And when we're finished doing this one, we're now level 3 in mining. You just simply click on the one that you're extracting, which is tin at the moment, and it will stop. Okay? So once you get the little thing appear, just click on this bar that you can see down the bottom, and it will stop. Okay, so we'll stop. Okay, so that means we got that. Now we're not mining anything because I've stopped it. Okay, and if you go over to your bank, you have, 15 copper and 15 tin, 16 copper. So we could sell them if you wanted to, make money out of them. You can sell them, but we're not going to do that. Okay, because we need a weapon. It'd be a bit silly and we'd have to go back and do it again. So to get a weapon, we're going to go to this skill called smithing over here. Okay. Okay, this is smithing. Now this is a very useful skill. Okay, and it's going to help you a lot in the early game. So basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to turn those ores that you saw that we call into bronze bars, which is here. So if I click on here, this brings you into the bronze bar section. It's exactly the same as other skills, different types of equipment, okay, that you can make. Okay, but here, before you can make any of this equipment, you need to have bars first. Okay, so we need these bronze bars. Alright, so this is how we make bronze bars. Okay, again, it's similar to fishing. These two things are similar to fishing. The chance of preserving an item, and the chance of getting double item. Your current experience level, in our case, is 1. And it tells you over here what you require. So to make 1 bronze bar, you need 1 copper and 1 tin. Okay? So we got 16 copper and 15 tin. Okay? That's really good. Okay? That means we should theoretically be able to make 16 of them. Might not necessarily work out like that, but you can do that, okay? And it tells you here that one of these produces one of them. You'll get 5 XP for every one you make. 14 for your mastery and 3 additional. And it takes 2 seconds. So all you've got to do, once you get on here, you've got the bits that you've done, make sure you've got bronze bar, click, just press create and it'll start creating them. And it's now started to create them, and you can see them coming down the bottom here. And it will build these up until we run out of material. Okay, you can see it going down as we build up. We've currently got mastery level 2, so we're doing quite good. You can see the points building up here. Won't take long to build these up because obviously, we didn't go too mad. We don't need too many at the moment. So once you've got that, just let it go all the way till it runs out, and then just go over to so once you've done that, you should have roughly about, oh sorry, I didn't mean to go right down there, I must have scrolled down. Right, go over here, you've now got 15 bronze bars. Okay, so you can sell this one thing because we don't need that, so just sell that. Get rid of that, and get you another 16 gold. Okay, but don't sell the bronze bars. Okay, you can lock them if you wish, but we're not going to do it. So go back to smithing. Once we got that, we're going to go to bronze gears, which is here. Now, there's 2 things we can need here, right? We can get some arrowheads for range, but we're not worrying about range at the moment. We're going to cover that later on. So for now, all we're going to be doing is doing bronze daggers. So that's what the first thing we're going to make is a bronze dagger. So just click on it and it will bring up the same sort of thing. Okay, just slightly different. Okay, and it says for every 1 bar, right, you can make a dagger. Okay, but we have 15, so we could make 15 daggers. Why you'd want 15 daggers, I don't know, but we're going to just make them anyway. So just could turn all these bars that we currently just made into daggers. Okay, just by pressing create down here. And this will just create dagger for us. Okay, don't want to throw in knives, don't worry about any of this. I'm trying to see if we get to level 4. We may get there because we've got quite a bit. So getting up to level 3 now. So you can see we're building all these daggers. And when we get to 4, we're going to stop it by clicking the green button if we've got any left. No, we didn't quite make it to level 4. So we did manage to open up the bronze throwing daggers and we already had the arrow heads or arrow tips, but we're not going to worry about bronze daggers. Okay. Sorry, throwing knives, I beg your pardon, just yet. So anyway, we used all our bars up, and you can see now we've got level 3 in that, and we've got quite good mastery now. We've got level mastery in that, level 5, so it's good. Okay, so what do? We made our dagger. It's gone into our bank. Okay, so there they are. 15 daggers. Now, you won't be able to equip 15 daggers, so don't even try. But what you can do is, this time, instead of selling them all as we have been, just click this blue button which says all but one, and it will come up, and it will say you want to sell 14. You can adjust the number here. We do want to sell 14. We want to just keep 1. So sell that, and it'll sell 14 daggers, and a bit more money raised. That'll leave us with just 1. Okay. Now over here is a little bit complicated, so I don't want to go into too much, but you can view the stats, and what this means is what this happens to your character when you equip this item. Okay, it tells you that your attack interval, which is how fast you attack, goes down by 1.8 to 1.8 seconds. You get an additional 7 bonus on stabbing, slash, and block. Strength bonus of +3. That's all it does. I'm going to go through all this later on. Don't need to worry about that. Simply want to equip this to our character so we can do some combat. To do that, just press equip weapon over here. Poof. And it's gone out of our warehouse into our character, which is over here. And you'll be able to see it. If you come down here, you can see you've got equipment, and there's our dagger there. Okay? There it is there. So we're just taking it from our warehouse and we're holding it in our hand. If you want to see it over here, you can by clicking your equipment stat, and there's our dagger there as well. So there's two ways of seeing that. First way is here. Is our dagger here. Okay. And another way of doing it is clicking on this, and there it is over there. Okay, guys. So today we've looked at, okay, how to make food, preparation, combat, which you can see here. Okay. And we got that by going to fishing. Go fishing, clicked 25 shrimps. We then took our 25 shrimps and we cooked them in our cooking skill and turned them into 19 shrimps and then equipped them so we got a way of healing our health should we take any damage when we're biting. And we're going to need a lot more than 19, trust me. Then went to mining and we got some copper and tin ore, which we collected out the ground. Right, and once we got that, we went to smithing, and we turned the smithing, we turned the copper and ore chunks into bronze bars, which we did here. Okay, which is this thing here, copper and tin ore. We turned that into bronze bars, and once we converted them into bronze bars, went into bronze gear, and then we just created the amount of daggers that we had the bars for. So we created 15 bars and we created 15 daggers, which we sold 14 of them, kept one, yeah, and then equipped that as a weapon. So we got weapon. We now have weapon and food for fighting monsters. Okay, I think I'll leave it there now, guys. It's been going for quite a while. We'll come back and have a look at this another time and go through some of the other skills that we need to get before we go off and fight some monsters. Okay, guys, so I hope you found this very informative. Do please like our videos. Come back and see us next time. Be really good to see you. Until then, this is Stephen or Gamer Guide saying thank you very much for being with me today, and we'll see you next time. Until then, take care and have fun. Bye.